Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are live. I'm really excited for this stream because I've got some guests with me from Ravi and Plug and Play. I'm going to pull everybody up here and welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. So we've got two guys from Ravi and we've got Danny from Plug and Play. So why don't we just start with everybody just introducing yourself so everybody on the stream knows who you are. Jackson, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Jackson Redford, been with Ravi for about 4 years now. Got my start in video editing and did some animation for a little bit, but now I'm executive producer at Ravi.
Awesome. Sam?
Cool. I am Sam, one of the creative directors at Ravi. I've been with Ravi for 4 years now as well. It's been quite a while. In fact, the last time we did this stream was when we used to do the challenges at Ravi, which is fun. But yeah, one of the creative directors, and I helped develop the plugin that we're going to be showing today.
Awesome. Danny?
Hey guys, I'm Danny Perry. I'm the founder of Plug and Play. Been creating plugins for After Effects and Premiere since 2017 now. So happy to be here, and thanks for having us, Jake.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I'm very excited to check out this new tool, Better Gradients. You know, I'm sure everybody wants to see what this is, so I'm just going to pull up my After Effects quick just so I can quickly give a demo of what this effect is. It is an actual effect. This isn't just like a preset or something. This is a proper After Effects effect, and it gives you a whole stinking lot of control over what a gradient can be. So by default, this is the reset default. I have a mask on here. Ignore that for now. But you've got these interactive UI controls. It's extremely fast. This is GPU accelerated, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and it shows. But you know, you've got the custom UI that shows up when you're editing, and it goes away when you don't have it. An entire gradient designer that, you know, we don't have to jump into a separate window for. You can move stuff around. You can double click to change colors, copy and paste hex codes, which is kind of key when working with color. Things like being able to turn on a loop so you can cycle through color bands and stuff, remove, add, I mean, all kinds of really great controls. And that's just scratching the surface. There's so much to this. We could spend an hour just talking about the features, but at its core, you know, it's a linear, a radial, or okay, this is what I'm most excited about, a stroke gradient. When I do this, there's strokes along paths in After Effects now. This is something that has notoriously been incredibly hard to do a workaround that gives you a true gradient along a stroke, and now we have it. You can, you know, phase shift, you can cycle. Let me turn that loop back on, and we should be able to. There's shadow control. Oh, there's self-intersection. There's so many things that I could talk about. But you guys know this better than me. I just want to show everybody on the stream that I am very excited about this tool. I've seen it in various stages of development for a while now, but this is a very, very fully featured gradient tool that has so many unique controls that I have not seen in another After Effects plugin that does this kind of thing.
One of the scenes that I played with here, which was really fun, is just this almost like a tunnel-looking scene, and the main way to approach that was just using the gradient map style in one of the layers. Obviously, there is like a lot of different effects that I stacked to like approach any of my scenes, but this one specifically was interesting to just go through one simple shape layer, and then from this we get all the way to the final one, which the main effect here, which is the better gradient right here, is just using the grayscale gradient type and then just having that cycle through continuously and then stacking a few things together to approach it. After Effects especially, it's similar to that. There are some effects that don't do it very well, like 4-color gradient, but I feel like here having the option to like do it differently. I know it's not very visible here, but just seeing like the way the colors interact with each other's. The main color is always the same, but the way they blend in together is the interesting part. And then you can like briefly see that. But in some other cases, it's like much more transparent. And it will depend on the color palette as well.
Yeah, awesome. Speaking of when you buy this tool, there is a 25% discount code in the description of the stream. So if you are interested, that is a very steep discount for a tool that I think will become your go-to gradient tool in After Effects. So don't sleep on that code.
Sam, how many color stops do you have on here right now? I mean, there's gotta be like 30, 20, I don't even know.
The thing with this is that I'm so glad that it supports these many colors, because this is one of the examples, but sometimes I could be using even more than that. especially if I'm trying to show something that's shiny and things like that. The reason I did this is because, as you can see, the colors are duplicated. So in order to have a very like smooth, going from like blue all the way to white through all of these stuffs, but then it goes back, it's reversed again. So I think that was just an interesting way to approach it. Instead of having the blue have to go to white, instead it needs to go back through the same steps to get back to the same place.
So it's like a mirrored loop instead of just a cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That way it's just smoother to go through it. But speaking of, there are, just like the features themselves, like you said, there's quite like a good amount of time that we can spend just going through them, but we can talk about a few. One of the most interesting things about this plugin is the handle between each color, which is a feature that you do have in Illustrator, but you don't have in After Effects, especially in Colorama, which is one of the tools that we use usually. I know that you can have it in the normal gradient, but this just makes it so much more advanced. So right here, what you can do is like simply just, let me actually pick different colors that are much more different. But if I take these, for example, and then I move the color in between, you can see the basic thing of just moving the handle, so it puts more pressure in one of the colors instead. But the interesting part is just the curve that we have here, so we can have a Bezier path and just play with that in any way. At first, I thought that it just moves the handles around, which is interesting that as the people developing the plugin, just figuring things out along the way. It doesn't actually. There is a way, like if I drag this all the way here and then this one here, the handle is still in the middle. But what it does, it takes the color that blends between the two and it pushes it towards both of them.
Yeah.
Rather than if I get this back to normal, the handle is still in the middle, but the color does look different.
What about, I mean, you guys can show whatever you want to show, but I'm curious about the texture controls of Better Gradients. What kind of stuff have you guys done with those controls?
Absolutely. I think this one right here specifically, I have used it somewhere else, but I can just go through it here. It's very interesting to go through this because I have a blur. It kind of gets rid of it. But there are a few textures that we have here. But it's very interesting to see all of these different ones. The paper one is my favorite. It makes it look like brushed aluminum a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very interesting, especially here. You can see that. And I feel like the quality of it is pretty decent for the fact that I was previewing this in quarter. So if I have this in full, it does look very detailed and interesting. And you can play with the size as well if you want that to be very visible from like a faraway point. I think it's very interesting. But I think cases like this can be very good for if you have like a gradient wash over the entire screen. I think that'll be very interesting. But there are quite a few options that I haven't played with necessarily for this specific video, but I think it's very interesting and useful. And you can play with a lot of the settings within, like the lighting and stuff like that. But
yeah,
like this just elevates the contrast as well.
Okay, this question came up. I've already got this this 3D test set up on my After Effects, so I'm just going to show you real quick. Kyle, this is just a solid layer. I turned it to 3D, and it is sticking. It is like it's projecting it on to that plane. So that works just fine. And I would imagine it work. I haven't actually tried it on a shape layer yet. Danny, can you walk me through this? So I do this right? Do I just draw a shape layer path and apply the effect?
Yeah. If you wanted to do the stroke effect, or are you trying to do the 3D?
Yeah. Can you do the stroke effect with a shape layer, or is it just solid
It's
shapes?
with a mask path that you would attach the stroke path to. Now, actually, like on a 3D shape inside of After Effects, I haven't really tried it out on all that much.
Yeah.
So that would probably be something. Yeah, do it live.
We're gonna find out live.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a shape, and I'm making it 3D, and then we want to see if we apply better gradients to it. What is it going to do? So the points are sticking to it, but it doesn't seem to be applying the gradient.
I think you might have to be classic 3D instead of advanced.
Okay. There's your answer. Now to get this thing out of the way. So it's not acting like a window into the effect or anything. It's actually moving around.
Yeah.
If I change this to radial, do some craziness. Yeah. So Kyle, I think that answers your question. it seems to be working just fine.
One thing that I've always kind of been interested in playing around with using this tool is just having a normal 3D shape and like rotating it around with like some type of light, and then applying the effect using the grayscale type of format, so that as it rotates, the effect is painting on the gradient based derived from like the actual shadows of the object rotating.
Right.
So I feel like there's so much weird stuff like that you could kind of like play around with and see what it actually looks like. Yeah,
that's kind of something you can do in like in Cinema 4D and Blender, with like changing the way that shadows are color mapped. I feel like. What am I doing wrong here? I need to be in advanced 3D. I'm just gonna make a sphere, and we'll change the properties to be less shiny. We'll put it on a black background, or at least a dark gray background. And then pre-compose all this. And I haven't actually used this technique yet, but am I just switching this to grayscale? Yeah.
Yeah, and it just applies for everything.
And I guess if I would have left the background in this comp, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. What if I did like a rounded cube? See, oops, radius, just so we get that that shading. Can't copy and paste that. Can't copy and paste that.
I would keep the shininess, actually. I think it gives the contrast to put everything in. Yeah.
Okay, let me just spin it. We'll make a null in the same place, so we keep that orientation. And reset that orientation. Then I want to rotate it on the Y. Yep.
Just so entertaining watching you do all this, Jake. Like I used to be an animator. Like I used to do so much motion graphics work, but now I'm like just so focused on the software development side, and it's refreshing to just watch you guys do all this stuff. That's pretty sick.
That's really cool.
It is.
The only reason this is chugging a little bit is because of how much I'm doing with the streaming setup, and using my GPU, obviously, for the advanced 3D render engine. But that's pretty cool. I'm just wondering, like, if I switch presets to something completely different.
So side note, Jake, there's a checkbox up there that says colors only. And so yeah, some of these presets are like radial. Some of them are linear.
It was switching the type. Yeah. That is really cool.
I think increasing the cycles can make this look really interesting as well.
So if we go to like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and it just like increases that continuously.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's like just like a crystal or something like that. Super interesting.
So if I added like just a fast box blur before it, I could potentially smooth out that a little bit, get it more melty. That's really cool. And Jackson, I can see your screen. I know you've got the show. So if you want to share something while I look at these comments, let me know.
Absolutely. I can show off some of the stuff that I'm interested in with it. It's so funny. I mean, we were along the ride for this entire process, and there's still things I'm like, what? Wait, it can do that? It's really incredible. One of my favorite things about the plugin so far, and the thing that really opened my eyes to be like, whoa, okay, this can do a lot that I haven't seen, is this the gradient along the stroke, but with this offset instead of follow. I'm sure with follow, you all are familiar with the gradient following the stroke, but you do this offset and it blooms from the inside and outside. So I was just playing around with some different comps of like, you roll through the cycles and it just feels like it comes from the center. I don't know. There's just so many interesting things that I've never seen that you can do within strokes and After Effects with this. I couldn't really tell you exactly what use cases there are, but I mean, that's the beauty of being creative with it. So also very quick tip, if you want to get rid of a point, Option or Control click and you can get rid of the points on the line. That's something I learned this morning. So if I copy this layer over here, I can basically just copy from this gradient directly to this.
Yeah. I think that you have to have like, you select the gradient layer first, and then you select just so because you need to have the effect like showing up inside of the effect window there.
Okay, so let's do this. There we go. And then would it be this import? Okay.
Yeah, maybe you need to have both of them selected, but like the one with the effect on it first.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Here, let me remove that. There we go.
Nice.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm at a loss for words. It cracks me up. Yeah, that's really neat.
And there's all kinds of controls for the strokes too. It can be tapered. There's the self-intersecting and shadows and stuff. Oh man, that glow looks amazing.
I was messing around with this morning. It's the little overlap automatically applies, I believe, and yeah, you can play with the shadow distance, the opacity, all this. It's not showing up here for now, but there's just so many different options with the paths. Yeah. That's why I was trying to tell myself, like, I kind of get obsessed with the different stroke options that are on here and look over the fact that even just in making normal gradients, whether, it's just a linear gradient on, a shape layer or something, it's still going to make life a bit easier too. So there's just a lot of depth to it.
I see a couple more questions. Does the stroke gradient work with depth of field? That only in the sense that a 2D layer does. Right. If you rotated a 2D plane with better gradients applied, you're going to see the depth of field on that plane. Does the gradient stroke react with 3D lighting in the scene? Again, only in the same way that a 2D layer would. So same, it's still just an effect on a layer. Yeah. So just like any other, if you applied a gradient ramp effect to a 2D plane and turned it to 3D, rotated it, 3D lighting will work with that. But that gradient mode that we were messing around with the cube, you could map the colors to the shading that the lighting is producing to create something very unique.
Exactly. That's what I was going to mention.
And then Jeff was asking, could you show off some of the different color models in Better Gradients? I'm not sure I understand what Oklab or the others are.
If he's talking about the interpolation modes between the colors, between Oklab, OKLCH, honestly, guys, these are all like different ways that the color is interpolating between two different color stops, and there's kind of like different families of like these interpolation modes, like OKLCH, which I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily know what that stands for. I'm not gonna lie. So I just know that these are all like different families of ways and algorithms that it can interpolate between these two like different color stops, like in between this green and this purple. And some of these are like how the actual color is painted onto the scene. So for instance, like OKLCH, you're going to get a lot more like vibrant colors going on in between these different color stops.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So Oklab is kind of going to be your more like muted. It's going to be less or more predictable between the two different color stops. OKLCH is going to be more vibrant. And I think that the way to look at this is that with like a linear RGB, which is like how most of the gradient tools inside of After Effects work, you're taking like a straight line from like one color to another color. And I know it's kind of like hard to like mentally visualize. I should have brought some visuals here to depict this. But you're kind of taking a straight line between those two different colors, and you might be going through like some grays and some more like washed out colors, which is why you can get some of like these more like muddy effects going on in between the different color stops, versus like OKLCH is more of like a color wheel. So instead of like going straight through these colors until you get to the next color stop, like between this like purple and this orange, you're actually like taking the shortest distance around a wheel to get to that next color. So there's a few different of these, like Love LUV-LCH is another like one of those OKLCH families. Maybe this shouldn't be as technical with naming conventions, but this is literally the technical names for these things. So it's really kind of cool to like see how all of these different like modes of interpolating between the color stops changes the actual effect quite a bit. So if you want something more like vibrant and fun, maybe you want to go with an OKLCH, knowing that you're going to get colors in here that are not necessarily colors that you specifically chose. Like you can see like this pink going on. Like we don't have a pink color in the gradient stop here, but because of the way that the algorithm goes from this blue to this orange, it just has to go through pink. And that's why we kind of get this, this kind of like pinkish color here. Speaking of that, there is like this advanced color option down here. So for some of like these color wheel interpolation modes, you can have it be shortest, which is kind of like the most standard way of getting to that next color, but you can also have it be longest. And so now instead of it taking like the shortest path between one color to the next color, it's going to take the longest way that it can to get to that next color stop. So you get like this, I mean, it looks like, you know, like oil and water, like kind of almost. And then there's like, okay, I always want to go clockwise, or I always want to go counterclockwise. And then this gamut handling, you can try to clip it to RGB, which is kind of trying to like preserve the colors a little bit more. Again, this is probably like, you know, maybe something that's not really applicable to most people utilizing this type of product. You probably just want to be like, yeah, I just want it to be shortest. But you can get some like really interesting color effects going on using these like hue directions and some of the interpolation modes inside of here. So just some more weird, fun stuff that you can create using this tool. The other thing I wanted to touch on too is, so with these textures, we can increase the lighting here a little bit. There is like evolution inside of here, which can make this look like really kind of fun. And like, I don't know, like this one kind of gives like caustics vibes a little bit. So like when light is refracting like through water, like gives like at the bottom of the pool, you see like those kind of weird, like noisy kind of looking streaks. So you can play around with like stuff like that, which will give you like some really weird kind of animations as you cycle through here. And again, like this is working where we have like lighting, which is selling the effect a little bit more, but with no lighting on, like you're still seeing the color travel in between these different color stops in very unique ways. It's not just, again, painting over an overlay and using a blending mode. It's really kind of algorithmically deciding how these colors are intermixed and like kind of blending together in very different ways inside of or throughout the gradient. So I think that that's something that's really fun to play around with. You can always change like the seed here as well. You can bind it to the surface as well. So maybe like I don't want to have the gradient or the texture following the actual like path. We can just have it be like, okay, I just want it to go like left and right. I actually like looking at this, I'm probably thinking maybe we need like a direction control here. So if we want to change the direction of the surface, but we can also have it be gradient here too. I really like playing with this texture here with the radial gradient type, especially if like increase the lighting here a little bit. Like I just get like such like tie-dye vibes going on. I think it's so, and that's just so fun and trippy looking.
So that texture is actually aligned to the angle of the gradient.
Yes. It's trying to follow the path of the gradient here. And if we do this with the stroke, then, and we put this as, I think this should be working with, let me try maybe the paper one. Okay, this might be a bug, guys. I need to look into this.
Hey,
one.
We talked about this before the stream. Bugs happen.
We did.
And that's okay.
Yeah. I know, that's so funny, Jake. I was like, have you ever had a bug like happen like during a live stream and getting like pre-show jitters? I'll look into this. But the idea is that the gradient does follow the texture follows the path. And so I really wish this was working because it gives a cool effect where as you move the path around, you really see the the texture following it as well. So it looks very like kind of like a rope and very like connected. It's not just like an endless, path. It has a lot of like shape that's like retained as you move the layer around. Actually, maybe if I went and set this to be offset here, I might need to look into this a little bit more.
That's also a cool mode.
Yeah, I think the offset was something that like we really got excited about, where we haven't really seen another way to do something like this kind of like offset type of effect here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna play around
Super
with that some
cool.
more.
I did see a couple of questions come in while we were doing that demo. So Jackson, I think Wasabi here, or Wasib, was talking about the teal overlap stroke. Wondering if there was depth of field support. Can I pull up your screen?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I'm kind of faking it till I make it with it. This is our typical process of adding some blurs to give it that depth of field. I mean, there's opportunities to do it with just tapering the stroke so it feels like there's some depth. And then I've added some compound blur on here, just to make it feel like it's got a bit of blur on both sides.
Yep.
Can you play this, Jackson?
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's so pretty. It's so cool, man.
It's ridiculous. You can make cool looking stuff so quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mixing that with Deep Glow, just they fit together. I think we should do a package where both.
Now, see, okay, so Danny, I don't know about you, but every time that I release a new tool, somebody always inevitably asks for something like, "Can you add Deep Glow to it?" Yeah, stack that effect underneath it. Like
exactly.
But with that in mind, I mean, this is V1. We've already talked about on the stream a couple of things that you've said you want to add to this. So you're open to the idea of feedback and feature requests, right?
Please.
Yeah. How do you bet? Like, what's the best way for people to submit feedback and feature requests?
Yeah. On the plug and play site, plugandplay.app, you can open just a normal like ticket, and you can just have it be like product feedback or like feature request. Or, drop a comment here. We read all the comments, send me an email. I don't care. Just please reach out to me with feedback, basically.
Yes.
Whatever your preference is.
Perfect. Oh, somebody did ask if there is a trial version. Do you do trials at Plug and Play?
Yeah, there is a trial option. So there's two different ways to access the plugin. There is buy it one time, and then there is an all access pass for those who are okay with a subscription and want to get access to everything. You don't have to do that. Buy it one time if you'd like. But there is a free trial with the subscription. So you can not get charged for 7 days, test it out, cancel at any time, and buy it if you want.
Great. I think we're going to end it there, everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Jackson, Sam, Danny, for coming on and sharing this tool with us. It has been a blast. I remember I was going to say one more thing. You mentioned about how this you're having fun when you're using Better Gradients. I think that's a really good sign. I've noticed in my own vibe coding of tools that when I start to have fun with what I'm making, I feel like I'm playing. That's a really good indicator that I'm onto something that people are going to enjoy. And I'm experiencing that with Better Gradients as well. So if anyone is on the fence, I've already seen people in the comments saying they purchased it during the stream. So that's awesome. Don't forget there is a 25% discount code in the description. Thank you for offering that to our viewers, Danny. And I really appreciate your time and for being on the stream. So thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. You've been a great host, Jake. You're awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much. Yeah.
Awesome. See you, everybody.
Yeah, peace.
Bye, guys.